How's everybody doing today? This is Sam from Starion Realty, and I'm excited today to present to you another really amazing project downtown Toronto in the heart of everything awesome. All right, so I have someone with me today that is definitely someone that is known to in the real estate community, known to be one of the formidable minds behind some of the great projects that we've actually talked about in the past. And here now we have Artworks Condos by Daniels. So with me is Dominic Tomper. He is the Vice President of Sales at Daniels. And please feel free to tell us more.
Thank you. It's a real pleasure to have you here. And we're so excited to be able to talk about Regent Park and this incredible revitalization that's now in its 10th year here in Regent Park. When we started back then, Regent Park was the largest revitalization that's ever been done in a city core in North America. So the scope of what we've done here in Regent Park is incredible. And because the scope of what we were doing was so large, we designed this community model to give people an idea of just how much change was coming to this community. When we talk about Artworks, which is the fourth residential condominium in phase 3 of the revitalization, its tallest condominium so far, it's going to be 32 stories. There's 350 suites in the building, and it really represents the milestone that we've reached here in Regent Park. And Artworks to us it's more than just a name, it's really a reflection of the community. We're in a community here in Regent Park that has really always had arts embedded in everything about it. Even here in the presentation center, we've got a Regent Park rotating gallery where we have up-and-coming artists from the community that are able to display their works within our presentation center. We rotate this gallery every quarter, so you're always seeing new and inspiring art that's coming in. At Artworks, we're taking the name a little further in the sense that there will be an interconnectivity package for everyone who purchases at Artworks with an organization called Artery. And what Artery does, it's almost like the Airbnb of the arts field, in the sense is what they do is they bring performances with the people who are part of this organization into unique venues. So you might see a concert being done on someone's balcony, or it could be within our amenity spaces, but the whole idea is to create very unique arts experiences. And so anyone who buys it, Artworks, will be able to have a 1-year membership to Artery.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So the beautiful thing about your position as the Vice President of Sales at Daniels is that you've seen tons of communities go from nothing in it to becoming thriving communities. That's really amazing. And I think that knowledge is very important when you're definitely putting this out there to the public and to individuals to say, here's an amazing opportunity for you to invest in or for you to buy into. So with the Artworks Condos, I mean, you just laid out the history of the site in and of itself, but with this very building, it's the tallest in the revitalization plan. It has clearly more units than a lot of the other projects. And what I find about this is that it's located in such a way that you can have access to the building or to your space from different outlets and different parts of the city. If you're coming from Yonge and Dundas, you have straight access to the building or to the tower. And if you're coming from River and other parts of the city, you can actually access the building fairly easily. So that's a great thing. From your perspective, how do you think this is changing the broader spectrum of the revitalization happening here?
Well, it's all the growth of the revitalization as we go along. You mentioned, and you covered it so well, in terms of location within the revitalization. It's one of the key areas of the revitalization. In terms of some of the amenities I talked about, it's right next to so many of them, whether it's the athletic grounds, whether it's Daniels Spectrum. In terms of transportation, you've got the streetcar right at your door.
It's amazing.
5 minutes to the subway.
Even better.
If you're driving, you're just right across from the Don Valley. In terms of location, it gets a transit score of 97. It has a walk score of 88 to give people an idea of just how well it's positioned, both within Regent Park and within the city overall.
That's amazing. So speaking about what's connected to the project, usually we talk about amenities within the building, right? In this case, we're talking about a full-blown community center, the athletic grounds. We're talking about other amenities that actually supports a full-blown neighborhood, and that's what you have here. So just the relationship between just having a building and the amenities in the building, and then like a full-blown soccer field where I could probably play soccer at any given point in time is quite amazing. But the other thing that really motivates me about this project is the fact that Daniels is so passionate about helping first-time home buyers. I think that's like phenomenal for me. So knowing that I can actually say to a first-time home buyer, this is a project that you want to invest in because it gives you the access, it gives you transit, it gives you, you know, the athletic grounds and every other amenity in the building as well as in the neighborhood. But the most important thing is it's easy to buy into this. The deposit structure is so friendly. Can you just share on that?
I love talking about first-time buyers because you are right. Daniels has a passion, and I would call it a mission to help people to achieve home ownership.
Yes.
I can really truly say that there's no other developer in the GTA who does more in creating programs that makes buying and getting home ownership accessible to a first-time buyer.
Okay.
Here at Artworks, we have that, without a doubt, the best deposit program anywhere in the GTA. And I'm talking about the deposit program because it's our experience in our sales offices when we talk to new home buyers, their frustration and their challenge is coming up with a down payment. We talk to young buyers all the time who say, if I can get in, I can afford it, but I need some help to get in.
Yes.
And so that's what we've attacked in trying to make home ownership affordable here in Regent Park. So with Artworks Tower, you only have to put a total of 10% down. But we make it even easier.
Okay,
so,
hold on a second. So we're saying 10% down.
Total.
That's it.
Yes.
Okay. That's beautiful. That will get my attention any day. And
for sure.
We keep pushing for developers to do 10% down or even less if possible, and they always say no. So I'm really excited to hear that. You're only putting down 10% of the purchase price, which is amazing, but it gets even better than that.
That's right, because it gets even better than that. We're doing everything we can to make it easy for you to reach that 10%. So here's how our deposit program works.
Okay.
When you come in to sign your agreement of purchase and sale, you're going to give us $5,000 at that time.
Okay.
And then you're going to top that up to 5% of the purchase price in 30 days.
Interesting.
After that, all you're doing is giving us $1,000 a month until you reach 10% or occupancy.
Okay.
So it's 10% and it's a gradual deposit.
Right.
That's why I'm saying, without a doubt, if you're a first-time buyer looking for affordability, being able to get into the home ownership market, feeling like you've been priced out of the market, this is the place to be.
Sounds good. So the gradual deposit structure is probably like the best thing about Artworks and Daniels as a developer. Like you rightly said, in my lifetime in real estate, I've never seen a developer push more to help first-time home buyers than Daniels. But I think the gradual deposit program actually changes the game completely, because you would see developers come out with, let's say, 10% down, and that would probably be the best they could do. But the gradual deposit of $5,000 in signing, in 30 days it bounced to 5%, and then $1,000 a month, that's unheard of. Like, that's pretty phenomenal. I think every first-time home buyer watching this right now, this is definitely where you should be. There's absolutely no questions anymore as to whether or not this is possible. This is very possible. And I think furthermore, the way Daniels is able to do this is because of your partnership with the City of Toronto as well.
Yes, it is part of it. But part of it is just the experience of who we are and how long we've been doing this. The Daniels Corporation has built over 30,000 homes across the GTA over a period of 35 years. So, we have deep relationships with our banks and our lenders who have confidence in what we do and know that we're going to deliver an incredible product, which allows us to create these type of financing for our buyers. But here's another thing about our deposit program that's really interesting, and I know some of the people watching your program today are investors.
Absolutely.
And we all know that in the city that we have a shortage of rental units. So this to buy in Artworks as an investor is a really great idea. If you're an investor from a deposit standpoint, you still can buy here with 10%. Having said that, when you do go to final closing, the bank you're going to will probably ask you to put a total of 20% down. But you're only going to give us 10%. Occupancies here are starting in summer of 2021. So from a standpoint of managing your cash flow as an investor, it's a really smart strategy.
It's beautiful. Absolutely. I mean, you have a lot of investors say to me, oh, Sam, I want to put my money into something, but, I don't want to put everything. I want to be able to spread my money so that it works harder for me if I have 20%, if I could put it into 2 units as opposed to 1, and hopefully be part of the solution of providing rental to students and people that can't afford purchasing a home. Another good thing you mentioned, investors, about this project is its close proximity to Ryerson University.
That's right.
And we cannot stress that any further than we will today, where we say your proximity to a university or college or anything of that nature is probably a game changer in terms of the investment landscape, because you definitely won't have a shortage of individuals looking to rent your unit. You also have Ryerson University increasing its admissions numbers by the records.
There's a higher demand for rental units in Regent Park than there is availability.
Of course.
And that's going to continue.
Of course, and I think in the rest of Toronto, I mean, if you look at the numbers nowadays, it's just rentals are now where you can only, what a lot of people could potentially afford. And so you have the demand is going up, but the supply is not necessarily meeting the demand.
Yeah, the supply has not been keeping up with demand now.
Exactly. So again, with the deposit structure at 10% for investors, with the fact that this is located downtown Toronto, minutes to Yonge and Dundas, definitely close to all the entertainment that you can ever have, close to ample amenities and infrastructure like the athletic center and other amenities in the area, artwork and even concerts like you mentioned that could potentially happen here. It doesn't get any better than that. I'm just excited just talking about it.
It's a fantastic place to invest in, and it's a fantastic place to live.
That's beautiful. So let's get right down to it. So we've talked about the deposit structure, we've talked about the history, and obviously the building in and of itself. I love the fact that you have almost like a different feel with this building. It looks artistic, if you ask me. Of all the other buildings, this looks more colorful. If you ask me, it has the brown and a little bit of gray to it. So did any thought go into that at all?
When it comes to our architectural design, we put a lot of thought into this. And this is where I like to say we're the best at master plan communities, because we don't replicate a building over and over again. You take a look at all the uniqueness of Regent Park and some of our buildings. Paint box, for instance, with its neat, nice splash of color on the exteriors. Yeah. Every one of the buildings has its own individual character to it. Yet, as a totality, they fit in together very nicely. So in architectural design, we try to be very unique and give it the feel of that artistic design and what it really called for in being the tallest building in Regent Park. So it does have a bit of a majestic look to it when you're looking at the 32 stories, and it's not just all glass. You've got the combination of this nice rich tone in the brick mixed in with glazing. So we took a lot of thought into how to design both the exterior look and even the outdoor spaces. So our amenity, we talked about amenities earlier, and some of the amenities that are part of the condominium on the outdoor spaces are just spectacular outdoor space.
That's beautiful. So we have a 32-story project, 300 plus units, tons of units to go around. You have 1 beds, 2 beds, 1 plus dens, and even 3 beds and 3 plus dens.
That's right. We start as small as a studio. That's 300 odd square feet, all the way up to a 3 plus den. That's over 1,000 square feet. So within that spectrum, you have a lot of choice to make. So if you can be a first-time buyer just by yourself, and you need that real starter, and you can go to a small 1-bedroom or a studio, or you can be a young growing family and buy a 3 plus den that will house your entire family.
Absolutely. So there's everything here for everyone, and I think that's another beautiful thing about this project. Dominic, while we have you here, I like to tell people that the number one way to build wealth is real estate, whether as an end user or as an investor. So you want to get into the market at the right time, and you want to get in at the right price. So pricing here compared to other parts of the city is very favorable, and we were talking about that before we started out today. Toronto now we're looking at $1,000, $1,100 price per square foot. definitely we're not looking at those numbers for this project, and that is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing about this community, and it's still in a growth phase, right?
Yes.
We're in phase 3. There's planned 5 phases of this revitalization. So a substantial amount of it has been completed,
Right.
and you can see that in all the amenities that are now part of the community. But in terms of pricing, we're at a range where it's still very accessible to a buyer, and we're talking about prices per square foot that
Yes.
are in the high 8s as opposed to over 1,000 square foot, which is typical for the downtown core. I mean, entertainment district where you're now over $1,200
Yeah.
a square foot.
Yeah.
So you can see where if you're at this entry level of a price per square foot, where there's still lots of room for growth for this community. So whether
Right.
you're an investor or you're buying your first home,
Yeah.
you can have some confidence in knowing that there's a lot of room for equity growth here because of the revitalization continuing
Yeah.
and how it's a part of the city that's really starting to be noticed.
That's growing and is getting more famous for a lot of good things. So when you say equity, you get my attention. If you say there's room for growth in Toronto, you have my attention. And obviously looking at the downtown core and knowing that you can still buy a unit down here in the high 8s and still see that almost $150 difference between what a lot of other projects are selling for, sometimes $250. That is amazing. You definitely have me at hello. So I really appreciate you presenting that and obviously helping us get better insight as to the numbers. So if you ask me, I love to talk to investors. I love to talk to first-time home buyers as well. In terms of first-time home buying, the one thing that a lot of first-time home buyers will say to you is, Sam, I have some deposits. I can put the money down, but how am I sure that this thing is going to be built?
Well, that's a question we are hearing more and more.
Yes.
And I like talking about this because earlier I talked about how many homes Daniels has built
Yes.
across the GTA, over 30,000
This history.
homes, 35 years in the business. Mr. Daniels himself, the only way to describe Mr. Daniels is to say he's an icon of this industry. He was the
Absolutely.
chairman of Cadillac Fairview before he started Daniels 35 years ago. He built the Eaton Center, the TD Center.
Yeah.
So what we've done here spans a very long period of time. And we're in a marketplace, because the marketplace has been very active for the last 10 years or so. You have a lot of new players in this business
Yeah.
who don't have the breadth of experience that we
Yeah.
have, just to
Yeah.
put it honestly. And so they don't have the same ability. They don't have the same knowledge. They don't even, like, for instance, one of the things that's unique to Daniels is we're not just the developer.
Right.
We also have our own construction company. So we're going to
Impressive.
build it as well. So we're not
Exactly.
going to contract it out to somebody. We're actually going to build
Build
it as
it.
well. So
Good.
knowing who you're doing business with today is very important.
Very.
The other thing that is key, and you know, when you talk about will it be completed, the fact is we start construction when we go on sale. So we're going on sale in the next few weeks. We'll start construction beginning of November. So you'll know it's already under construction. So you're not waiting to see if we're going to do it. We've already got it all planned. We've got our
beautiful.
permits, and we'll start construction. So you get some and that type of certainty in today's marketplace is very
It's
important.
gold. It's
Yeah,
gold.
the key there is for yourself as a buyer to put down your deposit and then have your money tied up for 2 years, and the market goes up during that time period,
Yeah.
and now it doesn't get built. You're
Yeah,
losing out.
that's-
You're not.
that's-
It's not just that your money's been tied up, but you're losing what's happening within the
Appreciation,
marketplace,
yeah.
and now you're further behind than when you started.
Yeah, no, and that kills everything for everybody in terms of getting people in at the right time and then not seeing the actual product. It's not a good feel. But definitely here we have a developer that's been in business for 30 plus years and has a lot of track record. I will bet my top dollar that this will be built to perfection, the same way we have it here. So great expression in terms of being a leader in the industry, being very much so interested in helping first-time home buyers, and obviously dedicated to completing and getting the work done. So final question for you, Dominic. A lot of people want to know, when do I get started? Right? So when is the start date? Who should I be talking to? We definitely appreciate the relationship that we have with you and with the rest of the team. So I mean, from the horse's mouth, how do we get it done?
Your team is who they should stay in touch with. You're going to get all the information, and we'll obviously pass it along to you before anyone else gets it. In terms of exact timing, we don't have that down yet, but we're looking this fall for sure.
Okay.
Probably by late October, early November is the type of timing we're talking about. But they're in the right hands when they're dealing with you, and you'll take good care of them. And yet, as you said, you have a great relationship with the Daniels Corporation, and it's always good to be doing business with a team that has a good relationship with the developer.
Sounds good. So I can't say any better than that, but I really appreciate your time. The other thing I want to say with Dominic being here is Daniels is passionate about getting you a home. We are passionate about getting you a home. So reach out to the Starion team. The number will be at the bottom of your screen. We definitely want to help you build generational wealth by getting in on the opportunities right now. Dominic, I can't say thank you enough. Thank you for having every one of us be a part of this. And definitely we want to sell out this amazing building. So I really do appreciate it.
Wonderful.
From every one of us at Starion Realty, I say thank you.
Thank you. It was a real pleasure, and we look forward to seeing all of you come out.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, guys.